Hello and welcome to the show. What a wonderful day. It is beautiful here in H-Town, Texas. And as you can see, I have my third ward gear on. And I want to give my shout out to the guy that allowed me to wear this first. All you people here in Houston, all my fans, my YouTubers, my family, I want you to pay this guy a visit because he's going to dress me up. And I like representing. And as I've told you guys before in this podcast that we're located right in H-Town, you know, a lot of times some of my friends will say, Larry, I'm coming to Houston. I'm going to stop by Charles' house. And Charles lives in Spring, Texas. I tell him, Charles doesn't live in Houston. I live in Houston. This is 3rd Ward, Texas. So I want to give a shout out to this guy. In the mix is right across from This Is It restaurant on Blodgett. So I wanted to give you that shout out, man, and I appreciate you following the show and dressing me up. Today, we have a wonderful guest. All of you TSU fans and alumni, because you know I represent TSU. This is a sports talk show that I cover the total gamut of sports: baseball, football, basketball, hockey, you name it, I cover it. But my goal was to give a voice for my alma mater, TSU. We're not University of Texas, Texas A&M, where they're on TV all the time. And this is not a national broadcast that goes everywhere. But at least when people join, because believe it or not, YouTubers, I have people that watch me in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I love saying that, Baton Rouge. And I got people that's in East Texas. I got family in Pennsylvania. I got friends in California. So this is not just seen right here in this Houston, Texas. So I just wanted to give a shout out and thank everyone. As if you're looking at my podcast, you can see my viewership rising, and I totally appreciate it. Because what I'm here for is, one more time, to help the university and plus HBCUs. As you know, when I start my show, if you've been here, because back in the day, this is what all we knew. So is the black university. So what I'm going to do is start off with some HBCU news, and we're going to bring my guest in, because not only is he a guest, but he's also a sports guy, also sportscaster. And so we're going to give you guys an opportunity to put the face with the voice, you know. And I'm going to give you a tip of who it is. And all of you TSU fans, you should know that if you have listened, one of the things that he says, my thing is back in the day, his thing is put your hand on the radio and let's pull these Tigers through. So with that said, if you're a true Tiger, you know who my guest is. So, but anyway, let's start with my HBCUs as I always do. And we're going to bring the guests in and we're going to rehash it again. So my computer went out, my daughter, my friend, and everyone keeps saying, put it on the computer. Hey, I'm old school, so the paper, you know, I see people on TV shuffling paper, so this shouldn't be a distraction to this guy. He's a professional. So, but anyway, let's start off with some HBC news. We're going to rehash the SWAC. PV beat BCU. PV is undefeated. And I think almost the closest game they had was our game for half, which I feel like, and that's water under the bridge, but I think that we had an opportunity to beat Prairie View. But Prairie View beat BCU, which is Bethune-Cookman. FAMU beat Alabama A&M. Alabama A&M University is the defending SWAC champ. They getting roughed up this year. You cannot rest on your laurels in this league. Just because you did it last year doesn't mean you're going to do it this year. And FAMU be bringing the fire anyway. They got Willie Simmons. And whenever you hear me talk about FAMU, you always throw his name in, because trust me, coaching makes a difference. Grambling State beat Texas Southern, my alma mater. But as I've said to other friends and alumni, we're not in a position to help another team. When I say help another team, I mean we can't have turnovers like we have them. We can't keep making the bonehead mistakes. We have to be aggressive on both sides of the ball. Sometimes we are, sometimes we aren't. And when I had the head coach in here at the beginning of the season, he said he's going to go a new direction. You know, we're going to be aggressive, Rose, on everything we do. If we go down, let's go down being aggressive. And so, but anyway, Grambling State beat Texas Southern. Southern University bounced back from us beating them, and they beat UAPB once again, one of the teams that was in the SWAC championship last year. They getting their hat brought to them too. One more time, you can't rest on your laurels. Jackson State beat Alabama State. JSU, as everyone knows, stays in the news, and they're getting a juggernaut. And I'm going to ask my guest once I open it up to him, and that is that what his thoughts are, because to me, this team resembles Texas Southern's team in 2010 when Johnny Cole was the coach. We had like about 4 or 5, and I can stand to be corrected by this gentleman, 4 or 5 D1 athletes, and it just makes a difference. Marcus Jackson, I think, was his defensive end. For us at that time, we won. Jackson State now has one. Aubrey Miller, that came from USC. This guy is a dog, which is what Dion said he wants. Dion, I love Dion, because what Dion is doing now is he understands that things are different. You know, kids are into social media, dancing and hip hop. I just loved it, and I fell out when I watched the YouTube of Dion when they beat Alabama A&M, because the coach was talking that smack to Dion. When they beat him, Dion gave a little talk. Then after that, he said, "Turn my music up," and them young boys just took off. So they loving what Dion does for them. And some people are upset with Dion, and they tell him that, look, hey, all the lights shining on you, the SWAC is bigger than you. I love what Dion's doing, because every time he talks about Jackson State and himself, he talks about the SWAC. All that does is bring light to the SWAC. So what you have to do, when I say you, TSU, Southern, Grambling, Mississippi Valley, Alcorn, you got to step up your game. That don't be hating. Don't hate on Dion. Excuse me, Coach Prime. I said Dion a few times, but you know I'm old school. I know him from back in the day. So Coach Prime is set up to be not just tough this year, but their recruiting class for next year. One last thing on him, because I am a TSU alumni, and it looks like I'm tooting his horn, but I just love what he's doing. He keeps the SWAC in the news. He is talking about why not one of the SWAC schools playing in the New Orleans Bowl, or one of these other Mobile, Alabama bowls where they don't get but 15 or 20,000 people, and their record is 6-5. Why not use a SWAC school? Because I can tell you this: if they take Southern, Jackson State, Alcorn, bring them one of those games, they gonna bring 5,000-10,000 fans. So I love what Dion's doing. Then you got Alcorn beat Mississippi Valley State 24-12. See, that used to be a 40-0, 60-0 game, but Valley done lost their last 2 games, but they've been right in the game after winning 2 games. Valley has won 2 games. So you got to up your game. Alcorn won. So the leaders right now, Prairie View in the West and Alcorn are tied. They're undefeated. And then you got Jackson State undefeated with FAMU right in behind them. So that should be good. Now, one other thing that Dion likes, and that is that why not create a super conference? Sound good to me. He was talking about joining the MEAC, which is where FAMU and Bethune-Cookman came from, with the SWAC. Now, I don't know the logistics and what all would be required. My guest probably will, though. And we're going to bring that up, too. We're going to shoot the breeze on that, and that is, what does he think about a merger with the MEAC and the SWAC? I think it would be fantastic, because you're going to have the East Coast now dealing with the SWAC. Then you got us, Southwest America, going over to the East Coast. So, hey, I think it would be okay. It's something to listen to and think about. Now, on the other spotlight of ball and athletics, we're going to talk about Astros. Houston Astros pitching. You know, my prior show, I thought that the Astros could win the World Series and go there, where they have at least made it to the championship series. But then, even further hard luck fell on them. Their top pitcher, Lance McCullers, cannot pitch. We can't even get pitchers to pitch 2 innings anymore. So I'm not giving up on them. They down 2-1 to Boston right at this particular moment because this is on Tuesday. They lost Monday, so they down 2-1. I think that if they can win this next game in Boston and come home and win, I think we got it. But the pitching has to step up. Now, the hitting also has dropped a little bit too, but the pitching has to step up. On the NBA, we got my projections. My projections for the year. And I want you to remember it. I have in the West, now, in no order, but these are the top 4 teams that I think that will be vying for the West to play for the NBA championship. You got the Lakers, and I know you guys out there saying, I know you were going to say the Lakers because you're a Laker fan. True that. Clippers, you got Utah, and you got the Warriors. Now, I also snuck Denver in there because the Denver and Warriors, it could go either way. Because Denver has this great center that he can carry them by himself. Well, not carrying them by himself, but he can get them into the playoffs. They definitely missed that guard last year. In the East, we got the Nets, the Bucks, the Celtics, and the Sixers. Those are my 4 teams I think are going to be vying for the Eastern Conference Championship. My pick is the Lakers will play the Nets for the championship. Okay? And that's what my pick is. Going across the street over to University of Houston has seemed to be turning it around as they've won like 4 in a row. And they are playing this weekend, their homecoming. And I think their big test and only test is going to be SMU and Memphis. Take a break right here. Hit that subscribe button, that share button, and that like button. And hit that bell for me. Dallas Cowboys. You know, my family, you know, I'm from North Central Texas, and my family want to make sure, why am I not talking about the Cowboys? So let me talk about the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are looking great. Finally, as I talked in my last podcast, that in the past it was either the defense showed up and the offense didn't. The offense showed up and the defense didn't show up. But it looks like now they getting it together. And look like Dak, he just looked totally different. He's calm, cool, and collected when they're going down the field in pressure situations. And he got some weapons to throw the ball to. So I actually think the Cowboys, the Cardinals, the Rams, and the Western side. Well, the Cowboys actually in the East. So let me give you the top 5 teams. I got Green Bay. I got Green Bay, Buffalo Bills, the Ravens, the Rams, and the Raiders. Let's talk on the Raiders. One quick second. The Raiders fired their coach, John Gruden, Chucky. They fired him, and they actually won a game after they fired him this past Sunday. So those are my teams. And Kyler Murray, I saw this kid when he was 14 years old, starting quarterback in Allen, Texas, won 3 straight state championships. All he knows how to do is win. And you can see that now with the Cardinals. And he's got the Cardinals from perennial basement team to now they are in the forefront. So that being said, I am trying to rush to get to my guests because we're going to go over this again. With no further ado, let me welcome to the show. And I want you guys to put this face, he's a handsome dude too, with that voice for the TSU Athletics, Larry Chatterbox Hale.
Brother, it's a pleasure to be here. I feel great.
Okay. What I want to do, Chatter, is, you don't mind me calling you Chatter, do you?
Not at all.
Okay. What I want to do now, Chatter, is let the people know, 1, where you from, how and what influenced you to get into radio, and 2, also, let me tell you this, audience, he's also a pretty good DJ. So if ever you want to put your dancing shoes on, just find him and you're going to have a pretty good time because he's on KTSU radio listening back. He's one of the guys that helped made Listening Back one of the top listened to shows in Houston, Texas. I don't mean public. I mean commercial radio stations or even the ones that pay for their commercials to be on these other channels. Their listeners listen to us. And this is the guy they listen to that starts them off in the morning on Friday. So I want you to say where you from, who influenced you to get into this, and how you started into the athletic sports casting. Go ahead, Larry.
Well, I've had the opportunity to be on the radio at KTSU since 1994. I'm approaching my 24th year on Friday Oldies. I got to KTSU via Vince Kennedy, who had the Modern Jazz Showcase at the time. And I worked at Kroger. And his aunt, Marge Kennedy, worked at Kroger also. And I told her, because I used to listen to the games and not for the music, mainly the announcers, what they were saying. This is what I've always wanted to do. I tell people all the time. I always wanted to be in radio, even as a kid. I told people I'm going to be on the radio one day. Yeah, okay, Larry, whatever, you know. And I'm living out my childhood dream.
Right.
So I feel like I'm on a wave 1,000 feet tall because I'm doing what I always wanted to do, first of all. And I give God all the honor and the glory. So when you talk about doing what I do, I feel like it's a gift that I learned in church.
Okay.
I did I call it Mount Zion University because it's right there in 3rd Ward. I've been going there since I was
Hold on, Larry.
Yes.
So you are a 3rd Wardite.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I grew up in like the early part, the front part of South Park, Griggs and Calhoun.
That's 3rd Ward.
Right by Johnson Funeral Home. Went to Hartsfield Elementary, Color Middle School, and Jack Yates. 3rd generation, JY guy. Mother went to Texas Southern. I went to Texas Southern. And it was March. I met Vince Kennedy at Kroger. And I said, man, I'd love to be on the radio. He said, well, Judge, I'm going to talk to Rick Roberts, who's the general manager at the time.
Okay.
And I came over there, started volunteering, and I just happened to be in the right place at the right time because Vince Kennedy had passed. First it was Steve Crane. Vince Kennedy had passed, then Steve Crane passed. And I was in the spot. I was in that spot where Steve Crane was.
Yes.
Because he did the Jam Factory.
Right.
I was there for a little while. I really wasn't seasoned, as they say. I was still learning. I was still very young. I took all the phone calls. Oh, Chatter, you doing good, but we miss Steve. And once the phone call stopped, they kind of replaced me with this other gentleman. And I got very discouraged. Very discouraged. I was crying at the back of the radio station. I said, I told Miss Deborah Adams, she's still working this very day, that I was going to quit. And so she said, don't quit, Chatterbox. You'll get another chance and stuff like that. And then a guy who worked at TSU at the time named Robert Bowie, called him my dad. He was at Texas, retired from TSU, electrician. He did all the sound for TSU. And he said, man, get in the truck. We'll take a ride, talk to you. So I was riding. It was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I heard this song. And then I heard this guy come on the radio. I was like, man, who is that? He said, Boxer, because that's what Mr. Bowie called me. Boxer, that's who you need to be like. Bad like him. And it was Don Sam.
Okay.
1430.
AM.
Woo! Man, I got with him. I started listening to him. And then I wasn't into the sports game yet. So I got with Ralph Cooper. And I started riding around the different middle schools, getting cassette tapes and interviewing the coaches. And he would play it on his show, Sports Rap. But I was helping out KTSU, but at that time they had Vince Kennedy, Leonard Moon, Devin Wade. They had a full roster.
Okay.
So at that time I was just still getting my practice on and learning. And Ralph Cooper gave me the opportunity to ride around, get interviews, and he would play the tape back. So with that, my skills was getting better.
Right.
So when Leonard Moon left, they needed someone, and my general manager, God rest his soul, George Thomas, gave me the opportunity to become the voice of the Tigers. And my first year being the voice of the Tigers, it was Ronnie Courtney was the coach.
Oh, wow.
In his second
that
season.
was your first year?
In his second season.
Oh, second season.
We went all the way to the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been very fortunate to be a part of that experience.
Okay.
And to me, Larry, it's like an experience like no other.
Yeah.
Because Coach Robert Moreland, I was doing the public address announcing before I got on the radio in the gym.
Right.
And I remember Coach Moreland said, Texas Southern is bigger than all of us.
Right.
And at first I said, what is he talking about? But once I got on the stage nationally, I learned a lot and I had to soak it in. And I say, I understand what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. It's not only when you are on that radio, you're not just representing Larry Hale, mm-hmm. you're representing 3100 Cleburne.
There you go.
And so I take pride in that. I'm thankful for that. I feel like I'm an ambassador for the university. And I feel like most of all, I really enjoy helping the students, mm-hmm. the young students that come, the young students that come to TSU to be able to help them accomplish, get their degree and get some top quality training. So when you leave, you can go get a job in what you want to do. Mm-hmm. Larry, this is a true story. I hope I'm not running my mouth too much.
No, baby.
It was a
radio man. Yeah, you're a radio man.
At KTSU, she was answering the phones in the front, a quote unquote journalism major. You're in the front answering the phones. And I said one day, her name is Raquel Shelton. She's on social media. Accomplished author, media mogul. And I said, let me ask you something. She said, yes, sir. I said, your folks sent you here to do radio, right? She said, yes, sir. Well, why aren't you doing radio? Well, I'm answering the phones. I said, that's not radio. You need to do radio.
Radio.
So I started working with her, interviewing with her interviewing skills, had her part of the broadcast team, graduated, got her degree. She's up in Chicago doing some great things, went to work at CNN, TBS, TNT, and I'm very, very proud. That's one of my first student projects.
Give me her name again.
Raquel Shelton. Raquel Rocky Shelton.
And I want the listening audience to actually look her up. And she's one of us. You know, this is new to me. And this is the reason why I got him here is that, you know, not to stop your train of thought what you was talking about, but I remember the legend Ralph Cooper, listening to him. Folks who Chatterbox is talking about, Ralph Cooper is sort of kind of like the messiah here in Houston, Texas, of radio talk for us black people. That's who we raised up on, Ralph Cooper. And actually, I'm going to try to get the legend here next.
Uh-oh.
And but anyway, he had some stories once to talk about when they covered the SWAC games, my brother. And do you have any stories you can tell me? Like he was telling me one time, he and Rick Roberts went to Alcorn, and they was up at there before they got this new stadium, Spink Stadium. Well, it's not new now, but back in the day, they didn't have that. And they were sitting at the top broadcasting the game, and the wind was blowing, and they were trying to stay up on the top of the thing and report the game at the same time. Do you have any stories like that?
Yes, we had some. I remember the time we went to Pine Bluffs Stadium. Mm-hmm. Very small, very cozy until they got the new stadium. Uh-huh. And it's like Devin Wade and we were like shoulder to shoulder.
In the booth?
In the booth. It was very, very old and quaint, and they moved into a new facility. I can remember the time when we went to Alcorn, and Johnny Cole was the head coach. And we were trailing Alcorn State, and we needed to play. And Robert Thomas got a big fumble recovery, and it was so funny because some of the alumni had came and they were in the radio booth. Julie Askew's going to keep me for this. Julie Askew, Sherry Alford, they had about 11 people in the radio booth, right? And Kenny Burroughs was the color guy.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because when Thomas picked up the football, Kenny Burroughs was saying, "Get on the ground," right? He said, "Get on the ground." And everybody in the broadcast booth was run. And I said, "Thomas with the football, touchdown." And he laid it down in the end zone. Oh man, and Ocean Soul played the fight song, and we went on to run the table.
What?
And go all the way to the SWAC championship. And I just think that was a memorable season. We played Grambling that same year at Delmar.
I was right there. Needed to stop.
And that 212 defense came up, and Dion Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say enough about 44. I love 44. We had some D1
He comes
guys.
Occasionally to the games. I see him occasionally.
D1 guys, and Dion Sanders was a holdover from the Steve Wilson era. He was recruited by Steve Wilson. Mm-hmm. And I said, Dion, and I couldn't tell him who the coach was going to be. I knew. I said, Dion, I'm going to be honest with you, man. If you stay, you're going to win a championship. You're going to win. You're going to see what it's like to win and get your accolades because you're one hell of a football player and you're a great person.
Yeah.
Stay. If you don't believe nothing else I tell you, stay. Mm-hmm. And he stayed. And when he got SWAC Defensive Player of the Year, he looked at me and I looked at him and we just embraced. Wow. No one knew what we had talked about.
What was going on.
And I said, I whispered in his ear, I said, "Aren't you glad you stayed?"
Yeah.
And I was just so excited for that young man.
Yeah.
And these are some of the things that really keeps me going.
Yes.
Is when you touch people's lives. And I come in contact with so many students.
Yeah.
And I tell them that you are at a great place where you can change the world if you want to.
Right.
We've had great people to come to Texas Southern, great leaders, and it's just a great place to be.
Yes.
Not only is Michael Strahan. Michael Strahan isn't the only person to come through Texas. We've got great people that have walked that tiger walk, have ate in that cafeteria, that have been to Jones Hall. I was talking to Melvin Baker. He just said the love for he had never been to Third Ward until he left.
Come to Texas Southern. I was there when he was called Clyde Baker at the time. Right. Because he was so cool. He was so
wide receiver. And I like to talk with some of these, what really intrigues me is everybody has a TSU story.
Right.
And I try to get them and I talk to them, record them, archive them. It's just a great feeling.
Great. Okay. Now, I want you to touch on, in your years of broadcasting for TSU, what are some of the relationships you made with some of the other people that do the broadcasting for the other universities? If I was to go down the list and say, GSU, Grambling State, do they still have the broadcasting?
Santoria Black.
Okay. Oh, you been there long as you've been?
He started a year before me. This is my 22nd season. Yeah. And this is what we used to do at the SWAC tournament. That's when all of the schools had their radio guys. Mm-hmm. And we would all get there the night before. And we would all get like a little conference room at the hotel and we would talk shop. We could talk about some of the things. We had this little thing called the SWAC Broadcasters Association. That was our little group.
Okay. And was it formed already before you got there or was y'all formed it? Y'all formed it. Great.
We formed it. Okay. And we would have issues we talked about and then we would present them to the media guy or the commissioner at the time. Make it mandatory for everybody to have a hard line, a hard radio line already in place. Mm-hmm. Or when you get to the tournament, make sure everybody had their equipment together. Because in this business, you have to have friends in town and out of town.
Right.
Lee Hall does the broadcast for Mississippi Valley State.
Right.
Rob J.
Student friend revenue, but go on down because that's what I was going to ask you next school. If you, as they come to you, go ahead and let us know.
He's been inducted into the SWAC Hall of Fame.
Run that. I cut you off this minute ago. So say his name and
Rob
his school
J.
again.
He was the television guy, WBLT in Jackson.
Okay.
And he's doing the Jackson State Radio.
Okay.
Now.
Okay.
We would meet. He would be there. He'd be in that room, and we've always had a great relationship ever since I've been covering Texas Southern. Mike Burns at Alabama A&M.
Okay.
You got Jerome Travis at Alabama State. You had Leonard Moon at Prairie View at the time. They don't have radio in Prairie View right now. Okay. You got Tim Stubbs at Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Okay. How long has Stubbs been there?
Stubbs has been there maybe 18 years.
18 years.
And we talk at least once a week. I try to talk to everybody once a week when I can. Charles Edmond, the voice of the Braves. He's a SWAC guy through and through. Went to Grambling, and now he's an Alcorn State guy, radio guy. He'll be coming to town this weekend. So
you guys actually have a camaraderie that y'all say, okay.
Of course. Everyone respects each other and what they do and how they do it, and we help each other because it's just us.
Okay.
It's just those 8 schools at the time. It was just us. Right. And it's not like us against them, but if we have to be, I might need a wire, I might need a screw, I might need batteries.
Right.
If you come to Houston and you have a problem, I'm going to help you.
Right.
I'm not going to do my broadcast and leave you out there. I'm going to do my best to help you get on, as we were saying.
Likewise to the other schools. If you go somewhere and you need some help.
Right. I'm gonna make sure you get on. That means be able to broadcast on the air. That's our phrase. Are you up? Are you on?
Okay.
You good?
Okay.
Great. And we get together certain places when I go. The radio guy pick me up. We'll go eat dinner. Like when I go to Mississippi Valley, it's this place I love to go to. It's called the Magnolia Crystal Grill.
Okay.
They have some great chicken. They have great food. And he takes me.
He knows that's where you want to go. You don't even have to ask you. Chad, I'll be by to pick you up in about an hour.
What time does the bus get there? When the bus gets there, I unload and I call Lee Hall. Like when I go to Alabama A&M, it's Dreamland. Dreamland's barbecue. They got some great barbecue sauce. Love Dreamland. Anytime I'm in the great state of Alabama, gotta have some Dreamland.
I got you.
Pine Bluff, it's his other little restaurant is closed now. But we have a great camaraderie. Just like when they come here, they always got to have a French's chicken. Everybody said, man, I need some French's. And we used to have it at the games. But I don't know what they're doing now, but I told Charles Edmonds, say, hey, man, when I come to town, I want that 10-piece. I said, I'll get you a 10-piece, and I'll bring it to the state. So that's the kind of great relationship that we have.
Okay. Take a break right here. Hit that subscribe button, that share button, and that like button, and hit that bell for me. Okay, what did you think about Dion's? What did you think about Dion's thought of the MEAC and the SWAC merger? Well, do you think that's viable or anything?
I don't think so because of the travel. Because usually football and basketball, we travel by bus.
Right.
And for us to go a couple trips to the East Coast, we would have to do SWAC does a great job in scheduling.
Sure does.
They do a fantastic job in scheduling. Kudos to them. 10 teams in the conference is quite a bit. So it will make the season longer. As far as it will make the season longer. You have to play some extra games. But we already have we got 10 people in the conference.
Yeah, that would be about 16, 17 teams if we did that.
It'd be a lot.
Yeah. I know what Dion was thinking because of the major white conferences that are doing it.
Yes.
But their economical ability to travel, like you said, is a little bit different than ours. They can board a plane.
Everybody's budget is different.
Right.
Sometimes you have schools that's really trying to stay afloat. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the extra travel would hurt their budget.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So some schools don't have a great following. They don't travel well.
Okay.
So like if you have a Texas Southern going to Washington,
to play Howard,
it might not be a lot of people.
Right.
From us.
Right.
But if you have, I think we did really well this season with the showing in Arlington.
Oh, fantastic!
That was there.
Huge. That was
so,
great.
Yeah, but I just think that I'm fine with 10 teams. I know what Dion's trying to do, trying to promote the SWAC as much as he can. I like what he's doing.
Okay.
I like what he's doing. I just think that, as Birdman would say, putting some respect on the SWAC.
Yeah. So, I'd like for you to give me your opinion on the ladies' basketball program upcoming season and the men's basketball. What do you think?
I'll start with the ladies first. First of all, kudos to Coach Cynthia Cooper-Dyke.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, our women's program, not that saying that we didn't have good players back in the days. We had some great players, but we could never put it together.
Right.
We always had a hard time beating Southern. Always had a hard time beating Valley.
Prairie View won wild.
In Prairie View won wild because we could never get over the hump. But when Coach Cynthia Cooper came, the culture changed. And when she left it in the hands of Janetta Hayes Perry. She kept it going. That's when we really got rolling.
Great job. She did a great job.
That's when we really got rolling. And then now Coach Perry left and sent Coach Cooper's back. She took her lumps last season.
I told her she did her best job last year.
She beat the
She
Bushes.
did her best job. She
got some players. Some of the players opted not to play because of COVID, which is understandable. But she worked with what she had. But she doesn't like to lose. She's a winner. And, she was quiet this past offseason, bringing in players, getting it together, retooling. And the Lady Tigers are going to be okay. They're going to be fun to watch.
Wow. I had her on the show about 3 shows ago, and I was just so excited, man. Her lineup that she's got is just stacked. And as I told my other friend, and he follows ladies basketball all the time, I said, that is going to change. We won't see what happened this past year again. And I said and I told her right there, I said, you did your best job to me. She said, well, we lost. I said, no, Coach, what I'm talking about is you guys were in every game to about the third quarter, and then your lack of talent, the talent from other teams just took over.
Or your depth.
Depth. That's a good one. And what I'm trying to say is that her coaching ability, that's the only thing that made them viable for 3 quarters.
Right.
That's the only thing that made them viable because they really didn't have a lot.
Lost our best player, Nia Mitchell.
Yes.
She's missed all, missed everything, missed all world.
Right.
We lost the rebounding battle with Nia out. Nia's a very aggressive player. And if you watch her, she commands the basketball.
For sure.
She wants the ball. She wants to score. She likes to win.
Right.
And then you have Smith, who's a great player. Bahor Quez, great player. But when you lose the head of the snake, which is Nia Mitchell, it hurts you. Yeah. And then we had a lot of players that were hurt. Then we had players that sat out that could have helped us. Okay. So we'll be okay.
One quick person, only one person since we're about to shut down. Tell me about one person. Now, I heard about this guard from USC. What do you think? What is have you seen her yet?
I haven't seen her yet. Okay. I haven't snuck into practice yet to watch her.
Okay.
Football has been the main thing, but I'm going to start going to practice and watching.
Okay.
On the men's side.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Go ahead. On the men's side, tell me a little bit about the men.
Loaded. Loaded, baby.
To the brim.
Loaded. The D1 transfers, just like you said. It hurt me when the weatherman, jumped in the transfer portal.
God.
I was hurt.
I was too.
He and I had formed a great relationship. Very great guy. And I'm going to be honest with you, that was a heck of a ride last year for that NCAA tournament. I think one of the best calls I ever made, Jackson State. It went viral on Instagram.
I got it up. I still have it. I haven't gotten rid of it. You hit that 3?
Those kids keep me relevant. Shout out to the social media. They keep me relevant. And I'm going to be honest with you. When we were losing that game, and I was like, man, don't tell me these guys have gotten all the way here, and we are about to blow this game. And it just seems like Weathers heard me.
Oh, yeah.
And they started playing.
Yeah.
And that 3, I said, oh my gosh. He hit that 3.
Yeah. We're going to win this.
That was it.
We're going to win
Take it to the house.
Take it to the house.
And then we in the championship game with Prairie View. Yeah. Jordan Carl Nicholas was like, man, we're going to get to say, Mr. Chatterbox, how long has it been since you've been to the NCAA tournament? I said, it's been a couple of years. She said, well, we're gonna get you and Mr. Lonzo Giles back there. Lonzo Giles is a video coordinator for Texas Southern. We started off the same year. Frat brothers, we have been roommates ever since our whole career.
We all travel.
And he said, we're gonna get you back there.
Okay.
I said, man, it's okay, you know. I said, nah, we're gonna get you and Mr. Giles back to the NCAA tournament.
I got you.
And they did that.
I got you.
And they told me to hold that trophy up. They told me to get on. Mr. Chatterbox, take the trophy, we're gonna take a picture of you. And I put it on my Facebook page. Everybody was like, congratulations. One thing about the students is they gravitate to you. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes this ride and this job so rewarding.
Yeah.
The parents, the parents are very supportive. I'm with Texas Southern, win, lose, or draw.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get, emotional because I think about all the lives you touch. And just like what Coach Moreland said, it's bigger than TSU is bigger.
For sure.
And I understand that now.
For sure.
Jordan, Carl, Nicholas, those guys are great. They're a great group of guys, great group of young men. And I'm very proud of them. I'm pleased with the way Johnny Jones has the program going. He got it from Mike Davis. Mike Davis, he was a monster.
Yes, he was.
Mike Davis was every coach is different.
Right.
Coach Moreland was different. I came in on the transition side when Moreland came back for that 1 year. And, Coach Moreland has his way of doing things. He talked, but not a lot.
Right.
He was very old school,
He's the definition of a coach. Coach
Moreland
was me.
He's the
definition of a coach.
I can say one thing about it.
Class
Texas Southern's
performance.
basketball, men's side, has always had great athletes. I can't even remember a year that we did a rebuild.
No.
Because there was always somebody there.
Right.
Kevin Granger got us spoiled. At number 10 is a beast within itself. He was a very great competitor. Yeah. Just like he is now as an athletics director, vice president, competitive. He's always had that competitive edge, and that's why sometimes I would have to wait. And this is the true story.
Okay.
When I was doing basketball, I was a Cub reporter for basketball, and I needed to get an interview. Everybody could get Granger, but I would have to wait until the end. Uh-huh. He all them other guys, talking to him and stuff like that. I would have to wait till he get in the shower, get out the shower, walking down the Tiger Walk with some of my best interviews with him because I had him one-on-one.
Right.
And I could get anything I wanted to get out of him. Or we'd be playing basketball and I'll score more than 5 points, more than 15. And I said, I'm getting ready to go to the cafeteria. He hit me with the basketball. I said, now come on back because you scored on me. That's how competitive he was. And that's just how he is.
That's how he is.
And Coach Johnny Jones, fun to be around.
Yes.
Great guy, a great caring guy.
Right.
Great caring individual. He looks out for everybody on the team. Right. He knows I likes to go to practice and watch and things of that nature. He makes it very fun to be around. Coach Tony Harvey, I think to me, when Coach Tony Harvey got the job, he changed the culture as far as how we did things. He helped get the gym restored, the business aspect of it.
Yeah. I think he started also bringing in D1 players.
He had some good
I think he was the first one. He had some great transfers come in. That kid Omar.
Yes, Omar Strong.
They helped turn the whole thing around.
When he came here, he was he had an ACL injury, and we still brought him in.
Had he gone big time? Was he at D1 before he came here?
He was somewhere and got transferred.
Okay.
Because one thing about it, when we bring in those transfers, they have like maybe average 3 minutes a game. Like that kid Marvin Jones.
Right.
Went from scoring three points a game, maybe like 5 minutes a game, to coming in and dropping 20, 10 blocks, and becoming a SWAC Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
In this league. You can make it.
Yeah.
He's playing basketball overseas
right now.
Sturtevant. Bad boy. Fred Sturtevant. Bad boy.
The left-handed leap.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Guys like him. Then we had Chris Thomas, who was bad. We had some great players. I've been blessed to see some great guys put on that maroon and gray uniform, men and women.
Yes. For Chatter, it's been a pleasure. But what I want Chatter to take away with him is that We have some items now that we're getting in stock again. The Sports Talk with Fat Larry. We had a nice response. The last show is when we just started doing it. What you need to do is go to fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. Leave your name, your size, and we will get back in touch with you to let you know what the cost is. We currently are in the process of getting long sleeve t-shirts made up. These come in maroon. I just had my person that makes this just came up with the maroon with the silver writing. I think is very, very, what you think about that, Chad?
I love it.
Yeah, it looks real good.
I love it.
It looks real good. And so, fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. Tell us how many you want and what size, and we'll get back with you. Now, we have them in white, maroon, black, blue, and gray. One last t-shirt I want to show you guys is the white one with the pink on it. This is a cancer-based produced t-shirt. My daughter has a 501c cancer program, Pretty Girls with Cancer. I picked up the wrong t-shirt because it's supposed to have a pink ribbon. This was just a trial that she wanted to show me. But when you order these pink ones for cancer, and it also supports her 501c. Breast Cancer Awareness. That's what this t-shirt for, and it goes to the Pretty Girls with Cancer 501c. Okay? So we got this in pink with white, and we have the maroon, blue, gray, and so forth. And prices and all that stuff will be discussed with you. And while I have your attention, make sure all my YouTubers, friends, and family, I read something on one of the subscriberships that people, when we ask you guys to hit the subscribe, the like, and the bell, you do 2 of them, but you don't do the subscription. They say that 79% of the people that like it and view us, because my viewership, and I want to thank you, has gone up tremendously. And I want to thank you, YouTubers, and all my friends and family. But hit that subscribe button for me. I am really happy that Mr. Larry Chatterbox visit us today.
My man.
I want everyone to go and have a beautiful day. Peace out.